When most of us hear the words fast food, we instantly picture something familiar. A golden set of arches, a drive-thru line full of cars, and a quick meal that doesn't break the bank. Since the start, fast food promised three things: speed, consistency, and affordability. It was the symbol of convenience, the food of busy workers, tired parents, and kids begging for a happy meal on the way home from school. But something has changed. If you've been to McDonald's, Burger King, or Taco Bell recently, you've probably noticed it. That combo meal that once cost $5 or $6. Now it's easily $10, $12, sometimes $15. The once snappy service has slowed down, with longer waits at the drive-thru and digital kiosks replacing cashiers. And the restaurants themselves don't look the same. Gone are the bright colors, plastic booths, and playgrounds. Instead, many chains now look more like coffee shops, with sleek furniture, muted lighting, and a menu full of items that sound more like fast casual dining than fast food. This raises an important question. What happened? How did a system that once revolutionized dining, by being the fastest, cheapest way to eat, transform into something that doesn't always feel fast, doesn't really feel cheap, and doesn't even feel like the fast food we grew up with? To understand why modern fast food feels so different today, we first have to look at how it all began. The story of fast food really starts in the early 20th century, but it exploded after World War II. In the 1940s, America was changing rapidly. Cars were everywhere, suburbs were growing, and families were busier than ever. That's when two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, pioneered something revolutionary in San Bernardino, California. Instead of running a typical diner with waitresses and a long menu, they created what they called the speedy service system. The idea was simple: strip the menu down to just a handful of items, set up the kitchen like an assembly line, and serve food in minutes at extremely low prices. This system caught the attention of Ray Kroc, a milkshake machine salesman, who saw its potential to become a nationwide phenomenon. By the 1950s, McDonald's was franchising across the US, and competitors like Burger King, Wendy's, and Taco Bell soon followed. The promise was the same: food that was fast, predictable, and cheap, no matter where you were. The 1960s through the 1980s became what many consider the golden age of fast food. Drive-thrus popped up everywhere, catering to America's car culture. Families could feed everyone for just a few dollars, and kids became the central focus of marketing. McDonald's introduced Ronald McDonald, the Happy Meal, and indoor playgrounds, turning their restaurants into destinations, not just for food, but for fun. Bright colors, mascots, and jingles burned these brands into pop culture. By the 1990s and early 2000s, fast food had gone global. Chains spread across Europe, Asia, and Latin America, often adapting menus to local tastes but keeping the same core promise: cheap and fast food, served exactly the same way every single time. This consistency became their selling point. You could walk into a McDonald's in New York, Tokyo, or Paris, and know exactly what to expect. This was also the era of the value menu. The famous dollar menu and 99-cent deals made fast food the ultimate budget option for working-class families, students, and anyone on the go. At this point, fast food wasn't just a convenience, it was a cultural staple. A cheeseburger and fries weren't just food, they were symbols of American life, exported to the rest of the world. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show. As health concerns grew, with rising obesity rates and documentaries like Super Size Me in the early 2000s, fast food chains started to face criticism. The once glamorous promise of quick, cheap meals began colliding with concerns about nutrition, worker pay, and environmental impact. And in response, the industry started changing its image, slowly moving away from the brightly colored, kid-focused design toward a sleeker, more modern look. That transformation is what brings us to where we are today, a version of fast food that looks, feels, and costs very differently from its origins. Fast food is not just about food. It never really was. From the very beginning, the real product has always been psychology. The burgers and fries are just the delivery system. Let's start with convenience. The first and strongest psychological hook of fast food is the idea that it saves you time. When McDonald's and its competitors first launched, they weren't just selling meals, they were selling minutes. A busy parent didn't have to cook after work. A truck driver on the highway could eat without losing time. The entire concept of fast food tapped into our deep need to make life easier, even if the food wasn't the best quality. Next is consistency and familiarity. Humans crave predictability. Walking into a fast food restaurant is comforting because you know exactly what you'll get. The fries at McDonald's in Chicago taste the same as the fries in Tokyo. That reliability reduces anxiety. No surprises, no risks. This is especially powerful when people travel or when families with picky kids need something safe. Then comes branding and identity. The golden arches of McDonald's, the red and yellow of Burger King, the bell of Taco Bell, these aren't just logos. They are symbols that trigger emotion. For many people, these brands are tied to childhood memories, family traditions, and even a sense of national culture. Think about Ronald McDonald, the Happy Meal toys. These weren't random ads. They were carefully crafted psychological anchors that connected food with joy, family, and belonging. Fast food chains also mastered psychological pricing. The value menu is a perfect example. By offering items for exactly $1, companies made customers feel like they were getting a deal, even if those items were smaller or lower quality. Combo meals work the same way. They bundle food together so you feel like you're saving money. But in reality, you're often spending more than you would buying items separately. The trick is not in the math, it's in how it feels. The restaurants themselves are also part of the marketing. In the past, bright colors and playgrounds were designed to grab kids' attention and make families linger. Today, the design has shifted. Walk into a modern McDonald's and it looks more like a coffee shop. Sleek furniture, neutral colors, Wi-Fi, digital kiosks. This is not accidental. Fast food chains are no longer just chasing kids and families. They are targeting young adults, remote workers, and middle-class customers who might otherwise go to Starbucks or Chipotle. In other words, they're rebranding themselves as fast casual, but keeping the fast food menu behind the scenes. Another psychological tactic is scarcity and novelty. Limited time offers, seasonal items, and collaborations with celebrities all create hype. Think about the McRib or a Travis Scott meal at McDonald's. These are not just food items, they're events. By making them temporary, fast food chains trigger the fear of missing out, pushing customers to come back again and again. Finally, there's emotional marketing. Fast food commercials almost never show the food alone. They show smiling families, friends laughing in a booth, kids playing, or someone rewarding themselves after a hard day. The food is secondary, the feeling is primary. And that's the trick. They're not selling calories. They're selling happiness, belonging, and convenience. All of these psychological strategies keep customers hooked, even as prices rise and service slows down. People return not because fast food is the cheapest or fastest option anymore, but because the industry has spent decades weaving itself into our emotions, our memories, and even our sense of identity. If you walked into a McDonald's in the 1980s or 1990s, you'd see something instantly recognizable. Bright primary colors, plastic booths, cartoon mascots painted on the walls, a ball pit or a playground outside. It wasn't just a restaurant, it was an experience, especially for kids. The design screamed family-friendly and fun. But if you walk into a modern McDonald's today, the difference is striking. The playful design has been stripped away. The walls are painted in muted tones like gray, beige, and black. The booths are sleeker, with wood finishes and minimalist furniture. Digital kiosks stand at the entrance, replacing the smiling cashier who used to take your order. Instead of Ronald McDonald waving from the corner, you're more likely to see a large glowing screen promoting a new chicken sandwich or coffee drink. So why did this transformation happen? The short answer is target market shift. For decades, fast food catered mainly to families and children. But as health concerns, obesity debates, and shifting tastes grew, parents became more hesitant to make fast food a daily habit for their kids. Chains realized that to survive, they needed to appeal to a broader audience, especially adults with disposable income. This is where the influence of fast casual dining comes in. Brands like Chipotle and Starbucks set a new standard in the 2000s and 2010s. They offered food that felt fresher, spaces that felt modern, and an atmosphere that made customers comfortable staying longer. Fast food giants saw this and knew they had to adapt. Out went the plastic playgrounds. In came coffeehouse aesthetics. Suddenly, fast food restaurants weren't designed for kids to play in. They were designed for adults to sit, eat, and maybe even work on their laptops. Another reason for the change is digital integration. Traditional fast food was all about walking up to a counter, ordering from a person, and getting your food in a paper bag within minutes. Today, it's about kiosks, apps, and delivery. The design of restaurants reflects that. Space is now allocated for third-party delivery drivers, with separate pickup shelves. Kitchens are more complicated, built to handle both in-store orders and an endless stream of Uber Eats and DoorDash requests. What used to be a smooth, assembly line system is now fragmented, with bottlenecks that slow everything down. Menus also played a role in moving away from tradition. In the 1950s, McDonald's had just 9 items. Today, menus are massive: burgers, chicken sandwiches, wraps, salads, plant-based alternatives, coffee drinks, desserts, and seasonal specials. More variety means more complexity, and more complexity means slower service. The very thing that once made fast food unique, speed and simplicity, is no longer at the core of the system. Even the cultural image of fast food has shifted. In its traditional form, fast food was openly cheap and cheerful. It was working-class food, something quick to grab on the way home. Now, chains are constantly trying to rebrand themselves as higher quality, healthier, or more premium than they actually are.